Hey everybody, it's Eri from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and can you feel the burn? I broke some big news on X just about 2 hours ago. Get ready, it's big. The company Ripple and Hugo Filion, they've put their money on Flare Networks, and I'm talking about XRP DeFi. This is the decentralized finance solution for the digital asset XRP with a $25 million investment round in Sentora. Sentora is the builder behind Firelight. Yes, I can feel that burn. Today is a good day. I had caught the news back in May, but I missed the detail that Ripple was involved in this round. Institutional, decentralized finance with XRP, that's what we're talking about. And the wait list, well, it's full. No more spots. And they are launching soon on Flare Networks. XRP staking, this is really going to unlock liquidity with the digital asset. It's a massive utility play. And you've got Ripple and Flare backing up this use case. XRP Fi is bigger than payments. Why? XRP as a bridge asset per Ripple in the court documents said that it's price neutral. It doesn't move the needle with price. It's just a neutral flow in and out. However, using XRP locked up in decentralized finance, that's a whole nother story. Jenna, my buddy in the space, is going to be hosting Hugo in an interview, and I've really told her, please get the answer to this. Phil Kwan said he'd been thinking a stablecoin backed by XRP, the hardest money ever known, and Hugo responded back, yes, it's already being built on Flare. Delighted to talk to you about it. What? What in the world is this? On a day when the market is pushing up again, we've got some nice shades of green, and Bitcoin is trading currently at 118,708 at the time of this video. SUI officially kicked XLM out of the way. It is now the 11th largest digital asset by market cap. I think it's going to overtake Cardano. I think it's going to be the number one performing asset in this cycle. I know I'm going out on a limb, but that is what I think. It has already surpassed the year-on-year gains of XRP. And as the alts march forward, you can see Bitcoin dominance still remains at 60%. So this cycle is truly different. I don't know how many times I can say to do your own research, but when you've got influencers reposting this kind of stuff, I just can't stay quiet. This breaking, Japan is tokenizing its $100 billion skyscraper in Osaka on the blockchain. Yes, that is true. And if the value moves according to Verson, the smart contracts, it's settling on Ripple. What? What in the world? Nothing settles on Ripple for one thing. The XRP ledger, are you talking about? It doesn't even have smart contracts. And meaning that XRP is required to provide ODL for instant settlement? Where are people coming up with this stuff? Please, please, please do your research. MUFG is tokenizing this. It's a $681 million Osaka skyscraper in a landmark real estate move, but it is on Progmat. Progmat is built with R3. And since we're talking about the crazy talk out there, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin cannot simultaneously be a Bank of America stablecoin and or a BNY Mellon stablecoin under a different name or branding, like a white label business. This is due to the immutable nature of the token's metadata in its underlying smart contract, which defines it explicitly as a Ripple-issued asset. Permissions like freezing and clawback are governed by Ripple's multi-sig setup, tying the token's governance exclusively to Ripple. This metadata is part of the audited deployed bytecode and cannot be reassigned to another entity like B of A or BNY Mellon without violating the contract's logic or requiring a fork. Now, while partnerships exist for custody, let's say, and that's a given, the potential migration with Bank of America is also a possibility, but this does not allow for rebranding of the same token. Any such adaptation would require creating a derivative or an entirely new asset, not altering RLUSD itself. So if banks wanted a branded version, options like wrapping, yes, you could do that, creating a derivative token backed one-to-one by a locked RLUSD. But that's a derivative, that's a wrapped token. And you could fork the open source code as it exists, but both of those options create a brand new token. They don't modify the original. XRP is at the center of Zhao DAO. Here's a 59-second clip from Santiago Velez.
Well, for governance, first of all, we wanted to make sure that XRP is the center of the Zhao DAO, that we didn't create some other governance token that through, a whale could come along and buy a large fraction of tokens in circulation and then kind of take over. We've learned that lesson from other DAOs, and that ultimately ends up being ineffective, and you don't represent the community. Your vote is not diluted by the billions of XRP that exist out there. It's only in proportion to the other members of the DAO. If there are very, very large whales, and we welcome everybody, so it's not that we're against whales, but we do want to give everybody a voice, there's a cap. And so you don't have to worry about, like Ripple, for example, having a huge amount of DAO votes just by virtue of having a lot of XRP.
I imagine if you're an XRP holder, you know the phrase, the best incentive is no incentive. I first heard this in the Stanford University presentation by the Ripple CTO, David Schwartz. And I want to share with you a brilliant mind. This is the co-founder of Minima Global, and he is a wonderful decentralized maxi. He's built an entire blockchain ecosystem on this premise. Have a listen.
You have to be very, very careful with regards to your blockchain, because anything that is a centralizing force eventually takes over. The only thing that matters is decentralization. And anything that impacts decentralization is no good. Anything that affects the decentralized nature of your blockchain breaks it. You have to remain decentralized, because that is the only way of achieving the censorship resistance that blockchains purport to provide. I guess that the main difference, the thing that really distinguishes Minima from every single other blockchain out there, is this idea of the mining, is this idea that there's people being paid in a competition to find the blocks. This is a problem. And it's a problem because humans are incredibly good at competitions. Humans are top predator. And when you have a competition, the end result is in the title. There's always a winner. And when someone wins the game of mining, your chain is dead. It's over. Because as soon as one person is in charge of which transactions do or don't get into the blockchain, that is where the attack takes place. That is where the governments of this world, where the hackers of this world will attempt to break your chain. So you need to make it that never happens. You need to make it so that there is never a situation where there are less and less people looking after the running of your chain. we have a blockchain that not only fits on your phone, but doesn't incentivize users to become bigger than they need to be. And so Minima doesn't run a competitive game. Minima runs a cooperative game, which means that when we're mining, instead of competing with each other to see which one of us can get a block and then get paid, we actually cooperate with each other. What is good for me is good for you. What is good for you is good for me.
Today was a great day. Enjoy the burn. Until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.